Hello, everybody. I am Will.
And I'm Kristen.
And this is So I'm watching Yellowjackets, Season 2, Episode 6.
Key. Q-U-I.
What does that mean?
In French, it means who, which, that. I just looked it up. Then also alert or lookout.
Yeah.
Or an action that is brought by a person on behalf of a government against a party alleged to have violated a statute. I mean, that's a reach, but I'm not saying no.
So, if you've been watching our coverage, and this is a spoiler show,
yeah,
you'll know that I have not been plussed at all about the baby. And I hadn't worked the thought experiment through as to why I didn't care, but it's like this exact reason. Yeah. I was like, what are they gonna do with a baby? In my...
No, for sure.
There was just something about it where I was like, it's just not sustainable. And current day Shauna, it just, like, I don't know that current day Shauna knows she had a baby.
No, she does. Current day, I mean, she knows.
Not that I think that she would be, like, carrying this for the rest of her life, but there's just something about it that I was like, I just don't think that it's gonna matter.
I think for current day Shauna, I think it will turn out to have been a blessing when they get rescued, and she doesn't have to be like, I definitely had your dead daughter's boyfriend's baby in the wilderness.
So I can't remember if they've talked about it at all. Does Jeff know?
I don't know.
That's
a
lot.
We have not had a conversation. Like, we have not witnessed a conversation.
Because you've watched it more and more
just
recently
twice,
than I have. So, because I tend to forget things sometimes. I remember the feelings and the vibes. I tend to forget specific details.
I really don't think so, because, first of all, her figure is going to snap back like that because they have no food to speak of. Secondly, he didn't know. He, like, stole the diaries, but I don't think he read them when he was, like, trying to blackmail. So it's like she did tell him stuff, like, after the whole blackmailing thing, but I don't think that he knows everything.
I've loved Jeff from pretty much the beginning, honestly. You guys were like holding out for a minute, and I was like, nah, he's a prince.
I wasn't sure. Okay, I'll tell you what about Jeff this year. His needle drops are checkmark 100, because today it was the police outside the police station at a very reasonable volume.
Put that together, but it is kind of fascinating to think about his perspective, because it's like he obviously was dating Jackie, and he obviously was close with and at least had slept with Shauna,
but not Jackie. He and Jackie were not sleeping together.
And to think that these women had this event happen to them and he doesn't know about it, but his involvement is so
integral.
That's wild.
It's fantastic.
And the thing about, because again, what I was saying with, like, me not really caring about the baby, it's like, I like this so much more, because the same with them eating Jackie, the same with, like, I hoped and assumed that we would very gradually get to this place. But as I've said, opening up with that opening scene in episode 1, I mean, it really sets a precedent.
It's like the White Walker scene from Game of Thrones.
There is a part of me that was afraid that they were going to be like, well, now's the time where we just eat people. And it's like, I love that it is so gradual, and that we've had Jackie's death Laura Lee's death was an accident. Jackie's death was an accident. Eating Jackie was an accident. I'm going to call it that. Crystal's death was an accident. Like, it just...
I mean, I believe Misty might have pushed her if she hadn't fallen over.
We'll never know.
Yeah, but that's my truth. The other thing, too, is
But it's like, imagine, like, how... You're gonna snap at a certain point. Like, how many traumas, like, tragedies can...
So here's the thing for me, too, is, like, based on the timeline of them having been missing for 18 to 19 months is what they said at the beginning. So we are, let's say, 6-ish months into it right now. That means we are going to get through the summer and face another winter. And so I'm like, and I know that you think the person in the pit doesn't matter, but, like, where does the pit come in to play? This winter or next winter? You know what I mean?
Next winter, I think.
But then that has to be, then they have done that, like, weeks before they get rescued.
Well, and
which is bonkers to
But
think
there
about.
is also, and I mean, this is just wild speculation, wild theories, but we're assuming that we have all the information.
Right.
And we don't. That's not how these shows work. So for all we know, they could run into another group of stranded tennis players that have been out there for 3 years who were like, we figured it out. I don't know. We have no idea what could happen. We haven't actually said it, but the baby did not make it.
It was stillborn.
Of course. Like, of course.
Yeah, I mean, they have all been starving. That is not a hospitable environment to grow a functioning fetus.
And it's not like she had been pregnant in the modern world until like a week ago. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's not like Claire on Lost where it's like she suddenly just
was like 8 months pregnant when she got on the plane.
Yeah, and it just makes sense. And again, I'm like, baby is also a storytelling crutch or trope that I hate, because I think writers are like, ooh, it can really shake up the plot. And it's like, not really. It's just like saddling one character, usually female, with like a chore.
A burden.
Yeah. And it's like,
especially in a scenario like this where it's like, so then what is Shauna's purpose? She can't help do anything anymore.
Every time there's a baby, or even just recently, like Modern Family, it's like they just aged Lily up 4 years until she can start talking, because then you can do something with it. So, yeah, I don't know. I really, I think that losing the baby this way does far more for the story and their collective psyches.
Yeah, because that's the thing is like, and they promised that they don't eat the baby. That multiple of the actresses were like, no, we definitely didn't eat the baby, like for sure.
You guys, Rachel was, she was on a roller coaster of emotions.
So it's like, that was kind of, I was like, well, if they don't eat the baby and the baby's not alive somehow in the present day, like having made it out of there magically, then it has to be stillborn, or it just dies of natural causes.
I didn't buy it, especially when they showed Coach Ben. I didn't buy it because I mean, he didn't partake in the Jackie, and he was so mad at them for so long after it.
Yeah,
that I did not believe he would participate in killing the baby and then eating it. Now, next week when they eat the baby, because it's dead of natural causes.
The next episode is called Burial, and there's no meat on the bones of a stillborn, underdeveloped, malnourished infant child.
True. They probably won't. Who knows? What is Coach Ben's deal?
I don't know.
I cannot with these weird flash sideways.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too is that like
all the gays on YouTube, because I watched several reactions, they're loving it, and he's cute. Both of them are
super
cute.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I can't. There are only so many fantasies that I can keep.
Super cute, but also I just like. I guess if it was going to be any 4 gay dudes, it would be those specific 4 gay dudes. But like, where are these 4 gay dudes in?
Were they in the cabin?
They were in a cabin.
Okay.
But like
it had the skull, so I was like,
maybe.
oh, is he like?
But like these 4 gay guys in suburban New Jersey that go to a cabin together to play charades. Like,
with the 1991 Madonna.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm buying that.
I don't know. Because I feel like something has to come of it. We're spending a lot of plot real estate with him in these hallucinations. Yeah. And we still don't know. That is something that I have enjoyed. And that
this one was very nebulous. Like, he was coming in and out of it, and the cabin, like the wilderness cabin was like merging into the charades scene, and he kind of like, we saw him go in and out of it, and like within the flash sideways as well, which we hadn't seen before really, which I thought was interesting.
It's something that the show has done a very good job with, and I really appreciate how, because the modern day story is so laser focused, like has such tunnel vision on the specific plot that's happening, we have no clue who's alive. Like, because have we had confirmation that Coach Ben died?
No.
Or were we just assuming?
We just haven't seen him, and he didn't show up to the reunion. But I mean, neither did Lottie or Van.
Yeah.
So
also, Javi's just still back and not doing anything. It's real weird. I mean, I have faith, but it's real weird. Misty fell to pieces. Granted, she just killed. She just witnessed.
She caused the death of Crystal.
Crystal, who was meant to be her midwife.
Yeah.
And then Akilah stepped the fuck up.
She did.
Which seems like it's an Akilah special.
She seems
She's
great.
Finding ways to really sort of, and she's named drop her sister's baby enough times.
I hope Akilah makes it out.
Yeah.
I hope so.
I would like to meet
grown-up Akilah.
Yeah. And I also still want to know who there's a blonde with a pink hat that's in the background of every scene.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we're just like holding her until we need. I don't know. In present day, Kevin and fucking Jay, Officer Syracuse.
It's actually Mark, but he introduced himself as Jay.
I hate him so much.
But or Matt, so maybe. Mark or Matt.
Actually, okay, no, I do hate him. But I was
Matt.
Kind of bathing in. He was so smug.
Oh, his scene with Shauna was fantastic. It was good. It was really good.
And I love her, like, I love Shauna's, because it's very me. I can relate to Shauna's tactic of, like, admitting to half of the crime.
Oh, for sure.
And then just trying to make him uncomfortable. Because I said while we're watching it, I was like, these men keep underestimating Shauna.
Well, you specifically were like, they're not scared enough of her. Which is so accurate. None of these men, and like, including Jeff, like, although Jeff is getting there. He is very close to being scared as he should be of Shauna. But the thing is so Shauna and Cali had to go to the police station, and then they separated them, and Kevin took Cali.
Cali is 17, correct? Or is she 18?
I think she's 17. Well, because she was like, Shauna was like, I hope you're not expecting to speak to her alone. So I think she's 17. So obviously the scene with Shauna and Detective Syracuse was like really amazing. And like you said, she admitted to half of it. But then like we keep cutting back to Cali and Kevin, and he's like, I like Kevin, but again, it's like the thing you said where it's like, I'm not rooting for him because I want Shauna to get away with this murder. It was an accident. It was an accident.
I feel like Kevin's going to end up saving them.
I think Kevin might pull through. I think especially because so then Cali, I have come all the way around on Cali. I think she's actually fantastic now because she's like in this to win it now. She wants to help so bad.
She's young and dumb enough
to
not, and I don't mean that as a dig. Like I mean, like she's immature enough to really go for it.
Yeah.
To really sort of like.
So she just like at a certain point just like breaks down to Kevin, and I think Kevin is enough of a sucker to like go for it, because she just then is like.
Cali, was she lying or crying?
Yeah. She was like, she screwed her face all up and was like, he told me he loved me.
Right. Okay,
so she is accusing him of having sex with a minor now.
Kevin was like...
He was like, my life flashed.
But my favorite part about that is that Kevin was like, God damn, like he believed it.
Yeah.
And like it betrayed that he was afraid that was going to happen.
100%. And then Cali, because he tried to be like, well, he plays by the rule, like, or he knows the rules or whatever. And Cali was like, well, I hope that's true because otherwise I don't want to have to tell you about his weird balls or something.
Which to go for the balls is brilliant because it's like, all balls are weird.
All
like, how do you prove that
weird.
in a court of law?
Yeah.
Had she like tried to go like he has a very specific birthmark on his penis? No. Like, no.
Weird balls.
It has to be vague enough, but also feel like. I do have to say, John Reynolds, that is a mustache deserving of a round of applause. It's so good.
I wonder if he just keeps it in between seasons of Stranger Things.
Does he have it on Stranger Things?
Yeah.
He's found a niche.
Yeah.
He's
the cop, right?
He is. I just didn't remember that specifically. It's so good. It's so good. And Cali is like fully just like in cahoots with her parents. Which...
And it's just so funny too. Okay, Jeff.
I like that her issue was that she felt neglected.
Left out. And now that she's in it, she's like totally fine. And she, like I said, she's in this to win
it. I remember oh crap, are we going to jail?
She also just Jeff is not equipped for these two women, like not even remotely. And so like they go to the station and then Shauna comes out first and she's like, I told him I was having an affair with Adam and he just spits coke everywhere. Just, he cannot take it.
And then Cali practically skipped out to the car with
She's
a
like,
lollipop
"Hey,
and pigtails.
I used Mom's idea, and I told him I was sleeping with a guy."
Transitioning, I wanted to say, because I love Simone Kessel as Lottie.
Yeah.
And I Googled her, and apparently she was all over Hercules and Xena. I, recognize her. So much so that she was in, the first movie that they made as, proof of concept for the show.
Okay.
She was just, 20, so I didn't fully recognize her.
Cool.
But, and she was also in, this is just a fun bit of trivia, but she was in an episode of Xena where there was a beauty pageant, and it had a trans character who was played by a trans actress. And I remember when the episode aired, because I was like, what? I was like, I am not prepared for this.
30 years ago, we've made no progress.
No, but that's my, that's how in, 1999,
amazing, yeah.
and, the trans character was, the hero of the Xena came to their aid,
I love that.
Ty and Van are still doing their thing. Mm-hmm. It was, good, needed character building material, but nothing really dishy.
Ty knows that Van's bills are late, and Van is like, I don't need your help, and, we are not together, and, you tried to kiss me in your fugue state last night, and so Van is very standoffish with Ty right now.
She's living...
She also had to remind Ty that she's married.
Yeah, and
I believe
she was also...
Ty fully forgot. She was like, Simone who? And I am married to checks notes.
Yeah. Well, because Van was like, least we forget, you came here asking me for help.
Yeah.
Ty's a bit of a piece of work.
It's a lot, yeah.
No, they established that Van is, because Ty phrased it as she was living in the past. But Van sort of reframed it as it's she's living in a version of the past.
Where she thought she could be happy.
Where this didn't happen. It's very interesting. They all sort of convene on the cult in New York, upstate New York. Misty's there. Her and Lottie had a loaded conversation. Natalie and
Lottie
Lisa
also,
are still eye fucking each other.
Lottie also keeps being shocked every time she sees one of them. It's the biggest thing that I have pointing to she's not fully aware of what's happening. But then at the end, when we panned up in the sky and everything is laid out like that fucking symbol, I'm like, no, Lottie, straight to jail.
I was rooting for you.
Straight to jail.
I'm staking my reputation on defending you. I still trust her.
Yeah, so basically after Shauna...
Does Lottie have fugue states?
Well, she has visions.
Yeah.
It's not the same as...
She's still so
Ty.
She had another meeting with her new therapist, psychologist, psychiatrist, whichever. I'm not sure what the difference is between those words. And now she's thinking that she's never been ill, that she's touched or something. And they introduced something that I find to be a very interesting concept. That she was wherever we were, there was a god there of that place, and we brought it back with us. And I think that that's interesting, because a lot of when you're dealing with supernatural aspects in what is a grounded show, the show is so far grounded in reality for the most part. And we've talked a little bit, there's a handful of things that the average audience will entertain. Ghost is one of the easiest things to work into. Demons are a little bit demonic possession, audiences are a little bit warm to. Usually when you're throwing down words like gods, you're thinking celestial, you're thinking cosmic. But I like the notion of maybe there's a little demigod, a little demigod sprinkled throughout.
It's just some kind of earth god.
Earthly realm that it's this pocket of wilderness is his. And with his little horns.
I'm gonna keep it.
And then, because they're doing blood magic. Left and right, they are doing blood magic.
They are.
And maybe they brought, a low-level god back to New Jersey with them, and understandably, he's pissed.
Yeah.
And wants to go back.
No one wants to be in New Jersey.
So, yeah, again, I still think Natalie and Lisa is a thing.
I mean, maybe Lisa gave Natalie her fish and said, you need to take care of something innocent. And then Natalie almost killed it. Just let it
She contemplated
drown in the air. but she put it back and then
Mhm.
fed him some fish flakes. She also, I think very interestingly, she hugged Shauna when Shauna arrived.
It is. I do find it because for us watching the show, it's been a year from last season to this season. For them, it's been like 4 or 5 days.
Not very long.
So I
mean, maybe like 2 weeks at most.
Yeah, I did find that they're. I mean, they are in extreme circumstances, situations, but I did find their sort of like relief's not the word, but their emotional response to seeing each other.
Yeah.
Like Lottie's, I get.
Yeah.
But
also, Ty is still not being a senator. Just FYI. Just not even at all.
I would even think maybe that was like a lost plot thread if the trucker didn't make sure that we remembered that she was a senator and he voted for her.
I just did love, so it's like the 5 of them, and Van was like not gonna go, but then they saw Shauna go in and she followed Shauna's car. So we've got Nat, Misty, Shauna, Van, and Ty all there, and then Lottie just like turned around and saw them all. And again, very like, well, she seemed less surprised at the very end that they were all there. Cause that was the other thing is Ty was like, we're not supposed to be here. And so that's what Ty and Van were talking about. And then as soon as she heard that where Lottie was, Van was like, maybe that's where you're supposed to be. So they like went there. I'm very interested.
I think that's largely, we spent a lot of time with the baby, with Bertham the baby.
But then also Shauna did have like an extended like daydream while she was unconscious from the labor about the baby not wanting to nurse, and then Lottie was trying to nurse it, and then she said we need to eat, and then that's where they were like, that we did see them eat the baby, so the joke's on us, I guess. But that was all a dream, and so she woke up and the baby was stillborn, and she had a really bad time with it,
which is
it's fair, super fair.
So I think that's largely it. Good episode.
Super good.
Interesting stuff, but there's
only 3 left. I'm so sad. That's not enough. That's not enough left.
So, all right. Well, let us know what you think and like and subscribe. And if you want to help support the channel, you can head on over to patreon.com/soimwatching the show, or we have a Cashapp and a Venmo at soimwatching. And yeah. Hopefully you had fun and you come back next week where we talk about it again.
Bye.